What's good, YouTube? It's your boy JusticeXFalls. We back at it again with another video. Today we're looking at Naruto, Boruto, Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections review. So the game is out. So far I've been hearing nothing but positive about it, except for the online. Like I heard there's only like 2 modes in the online. Like you can't play with your friends. That's very whack if that's the case. But we're gonna check out this review and see what's popping. And then we're also gonna look at some Metacritic stuff too. So without further ado, let's get to the video.
Can't hold back.
Believe it.
I thought this would happen.
Naruto x Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections is a comprehensive ode to the world and characters created by Masashi Kishimoto. Its immense cast of playable characters with exceptionally well animated movesets and maps straight from the anime with loving detail look better than ever before, but no level of source material accuracy can save this absolute mammoth of a game from hollow single player content and a stale combat system that hasn't meaningfully changed in 15 years.
See, like, I didn't know that there was like this much of a burning passion and community for this game, and I should have. That's my naivety, because I used to play this when I was younger, and I used to play this on the PSP a lot. I used to play this a lot, but I kind of fell off. But I mean, I still watched the anime, but I just kind of fell off of these games because I was playing more like advanced technical fighters. Like I got into tech. I was always in the Tekken. I was always in the Street Fighter. I started moving over to those games more, like Marvel Ultimate, Marvel versus Capcom, like shit like that. But I didn't know that there was like such a deep reverence for this like series to the point where he making comments like that, like about the combat system. I just thought it was like just a casual game that everybody just plays, but like people take this shit like really seriously.
To support a roster that's aptly described as a literal storm of ninjas, Ninja Storm's combat has to stay simple. This makes it approachable, but there's also no pot of gold to chase at the end of its learning curve like there is in better fighting games. Combos flow like a watered-down version of Devil May Cry. You can add variations to your moves, but most of the time you'll be pressing the single attack button until your combo ends with a flashy finisher. That's where the real game begins, as you'll need to understand the ebb and flow of blocking, attacking, grabbing, and moving to get up close and personal again so you can lock your opponent into yet another devastating flurry of blows. But that's about as deep as your regular tag options get.
I'll leave the rest.
Instead of mastering highly technical combos, the Ninja Storm games emphasize savvy resource management and patient play. Using special techniques consumes chakra, and you'll also need to keep an eye on your substitution gauge, which allows your character to escape any combo or attack at the push of a button. But you only have 4.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how it always been. It's not more so about advanced button inputs. It's more so about like resource management, like he said. That's how the games always have been. And that's what kind of makes it a more of a casual experience as opposed to an advanced experience like a Tekken or a Street Fighter or King of Fighters or Guilty Gear, where you have to put in the Mortal Kombat, where you have to put in these intricate things. And I think that in itself, has some merit to it, like this system here, even though it's much more simple.
Substitutions at your disposal, and using multiple will cause your gauge to refill very slowly. This all adds some extra sauce to the otherwise one-note combat as players dash and jump all over its 3D arenas.
But before you was able to unlimited substitute. I remember that. Like at some point, I don't know when they added this substitution games, but I remember at some point, as long as you could time it correctly, you could keep doing it. So there'll be matches where you'll just be substitute back and forth with your opponent.
Each character has 3 magic abilities, and just about anything goes here. Kiba teams up with his trusty Pooch Akamaru to rush down and drill his opponents into a pulp, Kisame shoots shark-shaped water bombs from a safe distance, and Raikage-A slams down with thunderous force, creating a massive shockwave. The problem is that you could swap most characters' voice lines and models with another and not see a huge difference in their playstyles. Most characters draw their movesets from the same small pool, albeit with different coats of paint. So with 130 playable characters, many being duplicates of the main characters, choosing a character based on their playstyle is less important than choosing your favorite from the show. However, with only a few characters from Boruto, most of whom are just grown-up versions of other playable fighters, the roster feels barren. For something that's billed as a definitive celebration of the whole series, Ninja Storm Connections falls disappointingly short. Ninja Storm Connection seeks to further streamline combat for people who just love the show by adding a simple control mode. By pressing a single button, your character will control itself, deciding when to dash, use special moves, and execute combos, leaving you to simply move and block. It's also highly customizable, allowing you to select what's automated and what isn't, though it's not something that'll ever live up to an experienced player. Speaking of which, playing online has been pretty smooth thus far, though results will definitely vary depending on your and your opponent's internet quality, since Ninja Storm Connections disappointingly doesn't use rollback netcode, instead opting for a peer-to-peer connection. This makes for a less reliable online experience. Netcode aside, the multiplayer options offer a solid range of online features including failsafes for players who disconnect during a match or engage in other toxic behavior. For a fighting game with such a broad appeal, that's a fantastic approach to curbing the poor behavior that permeates a lot of the casual arena fighting genre.
While Naruto and Sasuke were occupied with Haku, Kakashi was also locked in mortal combat with Zabuza.
Ninja Storm Connection's single-player
Yo, this was like the first OD fight between two high-level ninjas that we've seen in the anime. Yo, this fight was legendary. Like, I will go back and watch this entire season just to get to this arc.
Story options are its biggest letdown. The history mode lets you poorly relive the story of Naruto and friends from the beginning of the original series, which follows him as a kid through the end of Naruto Shippuden 3 years later. Unfortunately, this approach to that story doesn't do it any favors. Parsed out like a half-baked flashback, history mode truncates the events of Naruto and Shippuden in slapdash fashion. Instead of cutscenes, subtitled stills from the anime pop up in between the occasional fight, with sound effects like clashing kunai and some sporadic screen shaking as the only attempts to add flavor. I'm sure it's challenging to condense entire arcs spanning dozens of episodes of television into roughly 40-minute long chapters, but I'm equally sure it could have been done in a more interesting way than this. These movies are narrated by the Naruto world's godlike figure, the Sage of Six Paths. His detached perspective is great in a vacuum, but pretty boring in the broader context of a series that involves so many distinct characters and standout performances.
Having no further
Sage of Six Paths is narrating the story. Okay. I was about to say, who voices that? Because I don't watch I never watched the Shippuden. I watched the sub, not the dub.
For his two underlings, his plan was to murder them along with all of Team 7.
These moments play out more like YouTube lore videos than interesting scenes. Our disembodied narrator often reads quotes like he's a teacher reading a book to a group of kindergartners.
When a person has something precious they want to protect, then they become genuinely strong,
deflating the tension of otherwise intense moments from the anime. It's just not a good way to retell this story.
I'm gonna win!
Special Story Mode, on the other hand, is a predictable and rarely exciting original story that follows Boruto and friends, written by series creator Masashi Kishimoto. The first 3 Ninja Storm games boasted entire open overworlds that represented smaller scale versions of the Shinobi world where Naruto was set. They even layered extra side missions and hidden collectibles on top of that map, reinforcing the sense of place that makes the world of Naruto so noteworthy and actually making you feel like you're a part of it, not just looking on as a passive observer who occasionally picks up a controller to shoot out a Rasengan.
Hey, right here!
In contrast, part of the Special Story Mode is set within Ninja Heroes, a fictional in-universe video game based on the characters and events of Naruto, and that's where things really go off the rails. It's an online multiplayer game where Boruto and all of his friends gather to hang out. Think Fortnite if it featured skins based on war heroes instead of Master Chief and Chun-Li, but for this fictional world. There's almost no discernible story in Ninja Heroes, and the only thing Boruto and company do in it is fight. But you're not even forced to use these newbies. In fact, you could play most of this mode's fights as any character you want, because the full base roster is available. It's as confusing as it is strange, but never strange enough to be compelling. For example, one of Boruto's friends makes his in-game avatar that of Deidara, a former member of the Akatsuki, a murderous terrorist organization that was responsible for killing droves of people, and nobody bats an eye.
You have no artistic sense, Boruto.
Ninja Heroes is quickly revealed to be a Trojan horse that's part of a greater plan to take over the world, but there's just nothing interesting about it until the characters leave this digital space and realize something's amiss. It's about as silly as it sounds, and mostly just acts as an excuse to toss loads of purposeless fights at you for a large chunk of this story. There's even a section that tries to make fun of how unapproachable and content-dense some MMOs can be by throwing a long series of fights at you, but it quickly becomes the very thing that it sets out to make fun of.
They were going on about how this game has what's called a beginner's wall, and it's not actually that fun until you get past that.
Thankfully, this side
They
adventure
roasted
doesn't dive
itself.
headfirst into that empty swimming pool. Instead, it eventually gets somewhere with intrigue and plots to plunge the world into warring chaos, but its first third is irredeemably dull. Characters are at least fully voiced in this mode, and there are several well-animated cutscenes. The opening one's a particularly stunning display that left me excited to see more. I just wish it could have maintained that initial sense of action and intrigue. Naruto x Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections may have the biggest roster and flashiest graphics in the series, but its unenthusiastic retelling of the source material in what should be a celebration of Naruto, Shippuden, and Boruto falls flat. Even when it's fun and nostalgic, there's little here to make me seek it out over past entries that have basically the same fighting system and better single-player stories. If all you want is the newest, biggest, and shiniest way to watch your favorite shinobi battle it out, Ninja Storm Connections at least delivers that.
Hey,
but
yo!
the assignment doesn't mean
A
it's
5?
gets high marks. For more, check out our reviews of Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 or Persona 5 Tactica, and for everything else, stick with IGN.
5 is beastly. They gave it a 5, y'all. That's crazy. I gotta finish. I gotta dig in. I gotta lock in. I gotta lock the fuck in and finish Lies of P.
Can't hold back.
So they basically saying it's just kind of a jumbled mess of a game. Has a lot of fighters, but it's a lot of duplicates. The story, the way it's told, is very underwhelming. That's what I'm getting for. Is this game $70 or is it $60? Because if it's $70, I might not get it. But if it's $60, I still might get it just because I haven't played one of these games in so long. Steam giving it a 6, IGN giving it a 5. Damn. So people ain't really banging with this game. And it's not even just because of the limited online. He didn't even mention that. It's mixed reviews mostly. I'm so glad they stripped out the free roam cinematic story, half the major fights. Best decision ever to make. Best decision ever to make actively make a garbage game. And seriously, story mode is trash compared to Storm 2 and 4. 3 out of 10 if I'm being generous. So no free roam. And then they took out a lot of... See, I don't like that. If you're going to tell the whole plot, tell the whole plot. Because these games are known for telling the plot and having the free roam. But this person loved the story mode. Really loved the special story mode. Please let me play against my friends online. That would be great. Yeah. Let's see. Let's look on Metacritic. Because I like to look on the aggregators. Because it takes all of the sites. Holy shit. 48? 50, 63? Damn. They gave... Yo, I just saw this on Sunday. They gave this a 54? Damn. What was wrong with it? The users ain't like it much more either. The critics mostly thought it was mid. And then the users just didn't like it. They either liked it or hated it. That's crazy. But anywho. Naruto x Boruto. Let's see what they say. A 70. Okay, so this one got mixed reviews. Mostly people thought it was average. Let's see, as far as the critics go. 86. Undoubtedly the most complete and extensive game. That's already capped because it's missing features that other games had. If it was the most undoubtedly the most complete and extensive game, it would have had everything the previous games had plus more. In every regard. Naruto vs. Boruto Storm is perhaps one of the most complete titles dedicated. I don't know. Seems like they capping. Thanks to the absence of new mechanics capable of livening up the gameplay that are starting to be a little bit monotonous, rather than a compendium promise. To fans of the brand, the tie-in seems like a half-hearted and haphazardly attempted task, a real stopgap in the wake of what was done at the time of Ultimate Ninja Storm. Generations finally take shape. New fighting game, biggest fan of the date. Quickly realized connections focuses on quantity. Okay, quantity over quality. So you added all these characters, but they all kind of play the same. So I dig it. Okay, all right. I still think I might cop. If it's not $70. If it's $70, I'm not copping. Let's see. I think it's 60 if you get it by itself. So, okay. Naruto x Boruto Connections. How much is this bad boy? Cause it look like most people shitting on this. I'll probably get it for Xbox. And this is not available with your current filters. I just want the standard edition, bro. Like, what's going on? Microsoft Store. Come on. Pre-order? Oh, okay, so it's $60. All right, so I'm gonna cop it. Yeah, I'm gonna cop it, and I'll play it because I haven't played one of these games in a while, so it's gonna be exciting and fun for me. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Some of y'all probably, if you look at this video, you probably know way more than me about the series, and you followed it more. Tell me what you like about this game. Tell me what you don't like as it compares to the other games. Let's have a discussion. So y'all already know the vibes. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It's your boy JusticeXFalls, and we out. One.